Every piece of wood holds a story, but in the hands of Jim, it becomes something more, a message of faith, hope, and love.
Oh, my son, when they built his house, the cabinet maker, he said, well, he had some scraps. So we go out there, all this lumber's free, and then the blades, the kids give me blades, otherwise I couldn't afford this lumber.
At 92 years old, Jim spends his days in the modest garage shop in Bryan, Texas, crafting crosses, not for profit, but for purpose. This is not just a story of a craftsman. This is a story of a man whose life is defined by faith, generosity, and a quiet mission to share joy, one cross at a time. It started with a simple gift, an old craftsman's scroll saw and a few scraps of wood. No one could have guessed that that small gesture would spark a lifelong passion.
Well, when I got started with this is a cousin back 35 years ago was moving, and I helped him move, and he had a little Sears Roebuck, I don't know if they call them.
Yeah, a little gray one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he's going to throw it away. So I said, give it to me. I didn't know from Shinola about it, but I got that, and then I was a school principal in Deer Park. So then my first principal thing was a little old school in Lynchburg. It's 6 teachers, you know, so I'd make them something, little crosses or something. I got in the habit of it. Some teachers came by the house and saw it. I said, oh, man, my kid got a birthday. Can I get one? And so that started that way with that little old saw. Then I retired and moved to Wharton to be with my mother was 94 years old. We moved down there, and then I bought a scroll saw, a bigger one. I started getting serious, you know, about, we had a flood in our house, and the guy that did repair work, he had this plywood stuff. Then he gave me something to work on, an idea. And then when I retired, somebody gave me a copy of Scroller magazine. And so then I got the patterns and stuff like that. And it just worked. Then when I came up here, then I decided, well, I don't want to sell the stuff, so I just give it away.
I didn't set out to make crosses. I just like creating them. But there's something special about the cross, Jim said. Jim entered a few of his early projects in the county fair, but he always came back to the cross.
That was at least before 204, because I took those to the county fair in Wharton County, and they won first place. You know why? You know why? It's the only exhibit like that there. They didn't know how to classify it, so they gave me a ribbon.
Plain or fancy, thick or thin, each one a labor of love. And here's the remarkable part. Jim doesn't sell them. He gives them away. All of them. This storytelling legacy video is brought to you by Our Amazing Neighbors, where we sit down with everyday people to capture the wisdom, stories, and legacies they carry. And so you do this every day?
Usually 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. And then I read Lewis Moore the rest of it. But no, now I got to hand it to my wife, because Joanne is one that kind of keeps up with, kind of labels them. Joanne says when I fill up all the boxes, I got to quit. So, and what I like to do is go to a restaurant or somewhere. If I got to go to a bathroom, I lay it on those pocket crosses on the counter.
The kids at church love when Mr. Jim shows up. He usually leaves with an empty bag and a full heart. How long you guys been married?
66 years.
And Joanne, what did you do?
I was an occupational therapist till we had kids. And then we decided that I should be a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
The biggest salary went.
But we made it.
That's great. And how many kids y'all have?
Two.
And
Joanne and I then, we did our courting under the cherry trees over there in D.C. Neither one of us had any money, so we walked around. We could walk all over D.C. and go to, what was the name of that, where you get 2 hamburgers for a quarter?
White Castle.
That was the only thing we could afford, White Castle. but we made it. And then when I got out, I went back to go to school, and she went back to Minnesota to get a job there. And then we decided that that wasn't any good. We needed to do more than that. So she got a job in Houston at the VA hospital where she did her intern work.
To Jim, every cross is a quiet testimony, a gentle witness. He doesn't preach. He doesn't need to. He lets the cross speak for itself and the Holy Spirit handle the rest. Together they raised 2 sons and now find joy in their grandsons. Joan told me, "I like that the garage is close to the kitchen now. I can check on him anytime."
Well, we got to show you that back room after a while.
Yeah,
that's where Joanne's workroom. She's the historian for the Withridge family.
Oh.
And her Gustafson family too. We married.
Mm-hmm. Y'all married in 59?
Well, but she started 58. We married in 59, and in 61 when the kids she quit with it. See what she does while I'm sawing out?
Yeah, that's good.
No,
If you happen to visit Bethel Lutheran Church in Bryan, Texas, you might just leave with one of Jim's crosses and a little more hope than when you walked in.